Hey, Travis kiddos. Happy Monday. Happy Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. Sorry if that's a repeat joke for you, if you've watched the other videos already. Um, this is our math enrichment video. So this is, I'm going to show you the workbook pages. The textbook pages are online on Think Central through Launchpad. So if you prefer to do that, great. If you've done that and want some enrichment, you can do this. That's great. They're similar. This is just the straight practice for you. So this is practice 2, addition with regrouping. So we're focusing on addition with regrouping all week. But for today, we're just going to do pages 165 and 166, the back side. Okay, so as you notice, these are all one 2-digit number and then adding a 1-digit number. And we're going to be regrouping, so you know those ones are going to make more than 10. So I'm going to go over some strategies to do that. I'm not going to review any other skills today because I know this is a really important one, and in the survey you guys said you wanted some more support with this. So I'm going to show you some strategies on my whiteboard. Unfortunately, I thought I had brought home my base 10 blocks, but it turns out I haven't. So I cannot build those for you, unfortunately, here. But if you have objects at home, I know we've practiced throughout the year how to do that and what you can use at home. So those are the sticks. They're the cubes for the ones, and then the stick of 10 that are like 10 cubes stuck together that you can't take apart. They're yellow or blue usually. So if you have anything at home similar to that you can use, you could use a pen as a stick for tens, and then you could use, I have a ring. I could use rings for ones. You could use pennies. You could use little confetti dots that come out of your paper if you have a hole puncher. Anything you want to use that can somewhat represent smaller ones, and then a 10 that's a longer stick or connection of them. Okay, so let's jump right in. This is the first problem, so I'm actually going to do some of the problems that are on the page so that you can work through them. I'm going to show multiple strategies, of course, and you can choose the one or ones that work best for you, and you can always try new strategies. If you've mastered one and you think you've got it, you can try another one. Okay, always good to get your brain thinking in more than one way. So 48 plus 5. So we're always going to start with our ones place to add. And I'm going to do number bonds here. I'm going to do a picture of a representational picture or pictorial of sticks and dots. So let's check out these different ways. I find the sticks and dots the most clear. And again, if you have physical objects to use, that's even better. If you still need that step, or if it's good for you to check back and forth, or you want to try it, it's a great one. So you would do this, but basically with the objects. So 4 tens, 4 sticks, and 8 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so my dots are the ones. Now, I'm adding 5 more, but because I know I get a little confused sometimes if I'm showing the same types of pictures, because if I start drawing and then I lose track of how many I added, it's going to be, I have to go back and count again and be really careful. So there are 2 ways you could do that. You could either draw a line and then continue with your dots, or what I like to do is draw squares. While squares are a hard shape to draw, hey, it's good practice, and they don't have to look exactly like squares, just so long as they're different from the circles, right? So 48 plus 5. I'm going to add 5 more dots. You can, or 5 more ones, I should say. You could add them straight on the side, but you know I like to organize mine in rows of 5 so that I can find tens really easily, because it's like our 10 frame. 2 rows or columns of 5 are going to be a 10. Okay, so I've drawn my whole picture here. But what I'm going to do is, since I have more than 10 ones, I need to trade for a 10, because I wouldn't write it 40, 10, 3, or 40 and 13, which is how many ones I have now. I would circle a 10. There's my 10 ones, and I would redraw it. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 10s now, because that's my extra 10 that I just created with all of those ones, right? Because I have 13 ones now. So I have 5 10s and 3 ones. Sorry, it's a little squishy. So 5 10s and 3 ones is the same. Okay, let's check and see if we get the same answer doing number bonds. So since I'm adding ones, I'm going to pull the ones out of my 48 here. So 40 and 8. Remember, this isn't just 4, it's 4 10s. It's in the tens place. So it's actually 40 if I'm splitting it up. Kind of like here, 4 10s is 40, and my 8 ones are separate. That's the same thing, just showing it in numerals instead. So it's kind of a more abstract way to look at it. But if you're ready for it and it makes sense to you, great, go for it. If you want to practice it, great, go for it. So here I'm going to add the ones with the ones. These are all ones, just like I showed here. So my 8 dots and then my 5 squares. So 8 plus 5. So as we see here, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, it made 13. Okay? Now, I have 2 options for how to add the 40 back in. So, excuse me. So we can split up the 13 into 10s and 1s so that we can add the 10s with the 10s and the 1s, put those in. Or you can just straight add the 13 to the 40 if that works for you. I'm going to practice splitting it up. So I have 1 10. Now this may be too confusing and cause too many numbers to be swirling around in your head. So if it doesn't work for you, that's totally fine. So 10, the 10s from my 13 that I just created with the 1s, plus my 40 10s, no, 41s, 4 10s that I have over here. The 40 that is my 10s from 48. Sorry, that was very confusing. So 10 plus 40 equals 50. Now I'm going to add the ones back in. So I have 3 ones. So 50 plus 3 equals 53. Hey, that's the same thing we got down here. So 48 plus 5 equals 53. Now, to just add vertically is also fine, but we have to be very careful not to lose the 10s that we create by adding ones together. So 8 plus 5, we've already established, is 13. You can count on. You can split up the 5 into 2 and 3. So that you can create a 10. Actually, maybe that's one we'll do on the next one too. So here we have 8 plus 5 is 13. So 1 10 goes up there in the 10s place, and 3 1s goes in the 1s place. Sorry, let me fix that for you. So 8 plus 5 equals 13. So I've put them in there. I can't squeeze 13 in here. Otherwise, it'll make 413, or maybe I'll just end up with 13 and forget about the 4 10s. So you have to make sure that you draw show the 10. So 10 plus 40, so 1 10 plus 4 10s is 5 10s, or 53. Okay, so let's try another one. And I'm going to show you what I was thinking about just now for getting to another 10. So again, lots and lots of ways that we can figure out these addition sentences. You can always count on, but the point right now is that we're trying to work on place value, and we're trying to show how if we make a new 10, it goes in the tens place, that it's a 10. It's not just a teen number, okay? So that's why it's really important that I'm showing you these ways right now. So, but I am going to show you a different way to add these up. So we have 57 is 50 and 7. Just like if I split them up, 50, 5 10s, 7, 7 1s. Okay, it's just like putting it in a place value chart, kind of, just showing it separate like this. So plus 8, right? So 7 plus 8. Now what I'm going to do, which is kind of similar to how I showed you with the 13 on the last one. So here, if I have 7 1s, how many more do I need to make 10? So I need 7, 8, 9, 10. I need 3 more 1s. So I'm going to split my 8 up into 3. And if I have 8 and I split it up, so I have 8. If I use 3 of them to make the 10 with the 7, I have 5 left. So 8 splits, woo, excuse me, into 3 and 5. Now this is a 10, right? So now I have 50 and 10 and 5. So that's kind of how I did it before, by adding the two groups of ones, and then I split the teen number back up into tens and ones. This is just a different way of showing it, okay? So 50, 10 that we made with the 7 and 3, and 5, which is what's left over when we split the 8 up. Okay, let me show you what that looks like if I'm drawing sticks and dots. So 57 is 5 tens and 7 ones, and then 8 more. So it's kind of like what I was doing before, where I put 3 in line here. So the 8 is split up into 3, and then the 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have my 8 ones here, but I've already split them up so that the 3 goes with the 7 so that I make a 10. Right? So that's exactly what I was doing. It's just looking at it a slightly different way. Before I was kind of just adding on my ones by just putting them in the place. But this time I intentionally made sure that I had 3 more ones to make my 10, or at least I thought about it. Maybe it didn't look any different. Okay, so that's the same thing here, where I have 5 tens, or 50, 1 10 that I just created by putting the 7 from the 57 and 3 from the 8 together. Then I have 5 ones left, kind of like here. So let's put it together. So 50 plus 10 more, so 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 50 plus 10 is 60, plus 5 is 65. So 57 plus 8 is 65. So it's a slightly different way of looking at it. 7 plus 8. So if we're doing that, since I haven't done exactly 7 plus 8 yet, but I did show it with my ones here. 7 plus 8 made how many ones? 15, right? We had 10 and 5 more. That's 15 ones. We had 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 15 ones is going to be 5 ones and 1 10, which belongs in the tens place. Now 1 10 plus 5 tens is 6 tens, or 65. So those are a bunch of ways to look at adding with regrouping. I will come back and do more practice with this throughout the week, but I want to give you a chance to practice these on your own. So when you do this, you are going to need to be careful at the bottom. The ones on here have already split up the numbers for you. Some start with the ones and then add the 2-digit number, which same thing. You're adding the ones and then the tens. Some have the 2-digit number first and then the 1-digit number. So same thing. Down here, since you have to put the numbers in, be really, really careful, just like with last week's work. So 4 goes in the ones place. If you want to label the tens and the ones, that might help you. And then I add 66. Okay? So 4 plus 66. So be careful with that one. And then 89 plus 8. If you did 89 plus 8 like this, you'd be adding 8 tens or 80. But this number is only 8. It's 8 ones. So you have to make sure the 8 goes in the ones place. Okay? So be careful with that. And then on the back side, you have, we've done a lot of these, so it's nothing totally new, just a new set of numbers. So a ball goes into the machine, something happens, something comes out. So 76 goes into the machine, you add 9, and something comes out. Now again, you could count on. However, I'd like you to try to practice one of the strategies I just showed you, or using the physical objects, so that you can regroup, make a new 10, because it will, and figure out what comes out of the ball machine. Okay, have fun with it as always. Happy Star Wars Day and happy learning.